transmission out of Eric Siebel, took it up to his shop, we completely through it, put all new bearings, everything it needed.
Okay, so undercarriage been redone, transmission been redone, hydraulics been worked on.
So the truth of it is I have very little experience at this. So, and I wanted to do something better, right? Because, I mean, let's face it, the point of everything is always better. It's always better. I'll make it better. So what I did was I figured out how to get a YouTube video to go into my editing program. Now, don't let me fool you into thinking that was easy, because it wasn't. Actually doing the recording part of it, getting it to record what was on the screen, didn't take that long to figure out. Finding it afterwards, or making it go to where you wanted it to go, almost impossible. So I've been sitting here for probably 3 hours, screwing around with this, trying to figure out how to make it work. But I don't have it all figured out 100% yet, okay? But I'm close enough now that I've actually got the video that I want into the editing program, and it's saved in there. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Now it's saved in there. So it's saved in there, and I'm going to explain to you what we got going on. Mr. Goodpliers went to the auction to buy the truck. I hope he doesn't mind that I'm using his footage. Obviously, it's not against him in any way. It's good stuff. I'd like to show you the truck that I bought is going to have a life. We're going to bring it alive in the video. So this video is the birthplace of the black truck for me. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this video, and I'm going to try to figure out how to make little sections like this and post them in there in the corner, which I could have done when I was recording, but it took me so long just to get to the point to where I'm at. I wasn't looking a gift horse in the mouth, okay? So I'll figure out another way to do it. It'll be all right. So that little lead-in bit that you saw, that was the that was that day at the auction where I'm going to say where my or our life with the black truck starts. It starts the day Mr. Goodpliers bought it. It starts the day that it was out in the middle of that muddy field. And Mr. Goodpliers, who has a gigantic soft spot in his heart to save the automotive history of the United States, that's where the story begins for me. So that little piece you saw in the beginning was a starter. And we're going to show some more. We're going to show some of the black truck. So sit tight here. Let's see how this works out. All right, now you've seen a little bit of it. It's sitting out there in the middle of a nasty, muddy field. You saw the guy put the quick start on. A couple things I'd like you to notice. One thing to notice is how quickly the truck started up. It fired right up and sat there and idled. Now, maybe it had been run 2 hours before. Maybe it had been run the day before. I don't know. But it fired right up and sat there running, okay? Another thing I'd like you to notice is the guy giving the auctioneer the information he tells the auctioneer that it's a 69 model with a 390 in it. It's not a 69 model, and it doesn't have a 390. It's a 352. But later on in the video, Mr. Goodpliers says it's a 390. And I get a pretty good idea that the reason he bought that truck was one of the main reasons I wanted to buy it as well, was because he was under the impression it had a 390. A 352 and a 390 is almost impossible to tell apart. The only way you can really be sure is to check the bore. Check the stroke. 3.5 on a 352, 3.78. 3.5 inches on a 352, 3.78 inches on a 390. Other than that, they're identical, basically, with the exception of a couple little cuts in the air filter, but that doesn't necessarily mean, that's kind of iffy. Either way, it's a 67 model, and it's not a 390. Mr. Goodpliers' product knowledge is unbelievably good. Now, he obviously corrected the 69 model mistake. That was done right off the bat. But the 390 would have been a little harder to figure out. But I wondered why he had called it a 390. But now I see why. He called it a 390 because he was told that was what was in it when it was at the auction. So let's continue on. Look at the mud. My God, that has got to be so uncomfortable to be slopping around in that mess all day long. I can't imagine. I mean, every step you take, your feet feel like they're glued to the ground. Ugh.
Okay, what you got is going to start this one together. Folks, we will have another sale, and I do have some more antique cars, antique and collectible. And we will have another sale, and they're ways down the road, maybe a month. We'll have half a dozen cars and 2 or 3 pickups.
You see that? You barely heard a little noise. There was a little kind of hissing noise just for a second, and then you can't even hear it run. I mean, that puppy just fired right up and run. Back to it.
Plus a bunch of other stuff. Got to get the sale bill put together. Folks, listen to this one. It purrs like a kitten. Darwin, what year was the truck? 69. 250. What motor is that, Darwin? 390.
No, it's a 67 with a 352. We talked about that already. Back to it.
And you drove it out here, correct? Did you drive it out here? Yeah. You drove it out here. Did you run these?
It ran good, but you got good braking.
Okay, let's go ahead and kill it.
Yeah, go ahead, kill it.
They said it ran good, but it did not have good brakes. If you're going to drive it home, throw an anchor out behind you. Yeah. All right, folks, you heard that motor, that 390 motor right there. Somebody give me about 500 to start her. Give me 500. Yep. Got 500, now 600 over there, take what it is, $600. I'm on a 5, I want 6. 600 over there, over here in 7 now, 700 over there now, 800 over there in 9 now, 900 over there in 9, there, $1,000 bill, need 1,000, give me 950, 950, I'll slow down, 9.5. 900 over there now, better make it 9.5, 9.5. I'm 900 here. Yep. You got 9.5. Now $1,000. Give me 975 and quit thinking about it. Help me get it out. 975. Now $1,000. $1,000 in. Now we go 975 here. I need 1,000. $1,000 in. Now we go $1,000 in. $1,000 quarter. $1,000. Just wait a minute. $1,000 a quarter. Sure. $1,000 a quarter and a half. $1,000 and a half. I need 1,050. I haven't seen him over there, Colt. I need 1,050. $1,000. Look at high ground. $1,000 and a half. $1,050. $1,050 in the old 1,050. 1,050. Get it? 1,050. Hold her to you. $1,025. Mr. Goodpliers, number 18. I'll get him to come to more sales. We'll be famous, and he'll own a lot of stuff. All right, folks, you want to watch?
I put this next one in here just to show you how rough some of the trucks at these auctions are. I've been watching these guys go to auctions for a while, and I've wanted to be able to be there to do it, which, I mean, I can't expect them. They do this for a living. I can't go up there and say, hey, I'm somebody you've never met before. Come buy a truck for me. That would be stupid. That would be ignorant on my part. But I've been watching, and I left this next truck in here just to show you how, because sometimes at these auctions, stuff gets pretty rough, pal. Check it out.
375, I'll take 3.5 number. He hasn't used it yet.
Yeah. Love it.
Number 170.
Well.
And then I'm going to pull apart because they're fake and glued in. This one ran like a top, if I remember right. And we did not wash anything up, as you can see, okay? Wow. That is crazy. This one ran, stopped okay.
down here.
It seemed good, didn't it? And look in the back, you're getting a $100 aluminum toolbox with it.
And the battery's good.
Well, the battery's good, he said. Seat ain't even old. Let me go a little bit.
All right, so that was my introduction to that black truck. And when I heard that it had a 390 and I saw that it was a 60s model, I wasn't sure at that time, 67 or 69. I've learned since how to tell the difference. I was thinking to myself, man, that'd be a pretty good one. The next two trucks they showed, one of them was beat to death. The other one was rougher than, if you watch more of the video or watch that video closely, it's rougher than it's made out to be. And it was a straight six, and I think it was an automatic, which is two things that I didn't want. Anyhow, I started thinking about that black truck, and I watched this entire video the first time I saw it. And then at the end of this video, it shows him getting that black truck out of the mud hole, and he does a walk around, and he does a talk about it. And I've seen the walk around part of the video a whole bunch of times. I've watched it over and over and over and over again. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to learn as much about the truck as I possibly could without having to go see it first. So I've noticed a lot of stuff, not everything. I'm sure there's stuff there I haven't seen, because that's the way it is. You can't see everything on video. Now, this is the video from which I took the shots with the camera that are in my last video. The reason I'm doing this is because those pictures came out so bad. I didn't know how until this morning. I didn't know how to get a YouTube video to come into my editor so that I could do what I'm doing right now. And putting my little sections in there is kind of hard because I didn't do it. But you know what? I'm still learning how to use the program. So, get with the program. It takes a little time. So anyhow, the next segment of the video will be we'll be doing the walk around, and I'm gonna stop and plug in some thoughts and some things that I noticed, and some things to watch out for, to look out for, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so we'll get back to it. And there she is, boys and girls, the damsel in distress, awaiting rescue via an excavator and via Mr. Goodpliers. And then she will sit and await her delivery to Louisiana, where new life will be brought to her. I'm going nutso over this thing. I probably should settle down a little bit. I want you to notice, if you can, when he opens and closes the door on the truck. That truck is 59 years old. I want you to pay attention, notice if you would, when he opens and closes the driver's door, how solid that puppy sounds. Back to it.
Yes. I imagine it'll drive out. I bet it won't. Yeah, we'll see. Well, I got the old Ford home. Inside of this truck, really a mess. The bed, totally full of farm debris and clutter. So first step is to clean all that out and just get a read on overall condition.
I'm really hoping he doesn't clean out the inside of the truck, because inside the truck there's going to be all kind of clues into the life of the truck. I need to call him and ask him not to do that. Let's see what else he's going to do.
Of this truck, usual suspects of typical farm debris: barbed wire, fence posts, hydraulic hoses, chain, you name it, it's in here. Old oil bottles. It's all got to get cleaned out. Bed floor's really good. This truck hasn't been worked to death. Of course, wrong tailgate, 73 to 79. Here's the 1967 F-250. Now, in the walk-around video of the auction there, I was explaining this is the first year of this body style. And so the early trucks had this chrome hood badge. 68 had a reflector to comply with the federally mandated side marker laws. Side trim on a 67 is skinny, which it's all peeled off on this side. But there you can see 68 and later had the wider trim. Another feature of the 67s is that they had a small radio face with numbers that weren't that easy to read. Obviously, this one's been peeled out of the truck. So 68, they put a bigger face that was more easy to read. Other than that,
You hear that door close? That's a familiar sound to me. I remember that sound when I was a kid, of doors closing that sounded like that. That's a solid hit. The truck is solid.
to 70, the main changes really were just trim and grills. 68, they did introduce a 360. So this being a 67 has the 390, of course. As far as the engine in this truck, it is just a real sweetheart. Pull the choke out and don't even have to pump the pedal. Just twist the key in about half a revolution. She's sitting there idling and just running excellent.
All right, look under the hood, baby. big valve covers. There's a bunch of things that the truck needs to have done, and there's some things that I want to do to it. Okay, so call me crazy if you want, but I'm an old man, so I can do this. It's a 352, not a 390, like what we talked about. It's leaking oil like crazy, so it's going to have to be taken apart. So I'll replace the water pump, the oil pump, the fuel pump, valve cover gaskets, oil pan gasket, or I'm going to have the shop change all that stuff. But we're going to go ahead and pull the intake off as well. You know, the intake on that engine? That engine, sitting on an engine stand, weighs over 600 pounds. The intake manifold is cast iron, it weighs 80 pounds. So we're going to take off the intake manifold, which probably needs to come off to have oil leaks fixed anyway. We're going to put on an aluminum, a 4-barrel intake, and we're going to get a 4-barrel for it. And there's an exhaust kit that I found that you can buy. That's headers, downpipes, mufflers, clamps, stramps, hangers, the whole smash. Turns out in front of the rear wheels on each side. $563. I don't think that's bad. So we'll go ahead and 4-barrel it, header it, and when it's sitting there idling, it's a big block. When it's sitting, well, I think they call it a medium block, but look at the size of those valve covers, man. That fat lady's singing. Anyhow, when it's sitting there idling, and you're standing at the driver's door talking to the driver, the entire world will be vibrating just a little bit. Nothing beats good old cast iron American iron and steel.
At the Arnold Brothers dealership in Boulder, Colorado.
Yes, I'm curious about those big old Frankenstein patches on the cowl too. Don't know what they are. Looks like they had something heavy bolted right there, but soon enough we'll find out. Back to it.
And that's just outside of the Denver Metro, to the north and west, just at the foot of the Rockies there. Good old historic dealership. They started in the mid-20s selling Model Ts, of course, and grew into a big volume dealer well into the 70s. Inside.
Sorry to keep interrupting, but I can't help myself. What can I say? Again, listen to the sound of that door when it opens and closes. That is a sound that I am so familiar with because as a kid, I remember hearing those sounds. That's how they sounded. The truck is solid. I'm really happy about that. Back to it.
Kind of rough. The seats, not great. A lot of times the springs get broken on these, but I think they all feel okay. Definitely would need to be reupholstered. I believe this truck originally would have had, rubber floor mat, which is in there. They've added household carpet, which has helped to catch the grease and debris and old farm gloves and usual clutter that collect in an old farm truck. Mileage is showing 42,000, so figure it's probably turned over. And this old truck is just the way Ed left it.
This is real important. You hear what he just said? He mentioned the name of the guy who owned the truck. The guy's name was Ed. We have a dog named Ed. He's a big old dog, too. Anyway, I have been referring to this truck as a she up until this point. Well, now that I know that the guy's name was Ed, the truck has a personality. The truck's name will have to be Ed. I think that's cool. What can I say?
With the old sale tickets and old bidder's card. This is probably one that he used to haul his auction purchases home. Now, originally it was this tan color and now has been repainted to black. The 73 to 79 tailgate has been added. Now, one thing to know about this truck is it does have a pretty catastrophic rear main seal leak.
Okay, let's talk about this just for a minute. Rear main seal, catastrophic rear main seal leak. So I Googled these things, okay? One of the things I Googled was, are the 1967 352 FE Ford engines famous for intake gasket leaks? And the answer to that comes up yes. And the answer was yes, because the intake manifolds are so heavy, they weigh anywhere from 80, sometimes up to 96 pounds for the intake manifold. And because they're so heavy, they're very hard to properly set in place. So yes, they're famous for intake gasket leaks, okay? So then I Googled, are they famous for rear main seal leaks? And they say, well, sort of. But they're also famous for oil pan gasket leaks. So we don't know 100% for sure if this is a rear main seal, if it's an intake, or if it's an oil pan. I can tell you that the intake and the oil pan are coming off anyway. Now the big difference here, this is the big difference. The big difference between a rear main seal leak and having it from the intake or from the oil pan is that to do the rear main seal is a heck of a lot more work. So say the rear main seal can be done without pulling the engine, but you're taking a chance, and I'm not sure if I want to take a chance and have to do it twice. Save a dime, spend a dollar. So the first thing we're going to do in this aspect of it is check it out, see what's up, get a good look at it, see what's going on. Now, as I'm saying this, I want to make sure everyone understands Mr. Goodpliers is way more familiar with the product here than I am. His product knowledge is phenomenal. I've watched a lot of his videos. I got a lot of respect for the guy, for the stuff he can point out and stuff he can recognize. And I've never really known him to be wrong. And in this case, he labeled it as a 390, but that was because he was told that's what was in it. So I'm sure he just made the assumption the guy was telling him the right thing. I'm not questioning his integrity, and I'm not questioning his ability to look at something and know what it is. Okay, I'm not doing that at all, period. But we're not going to just automatically say, oh, it's a rear main, yank the motor out of there. All right, let's go.
And so that brings the crossroads. I really honestly do not know what to do with this truck.
Mr. Goodpliers, sir, if you're watching, which I really hope you are. I mean, I'm using some of your stuff. I'm hoping that you see this. But anyway, Mr. Goodpliers, sir, rest assured, I know what to do with the truck. This thing is calling my name. This is like, it's at the truck pound, waiting for me to go get it. This is going to work out well. I'll send you pictures. Or actually, what you can do is you can just watch my videos, because I'm gonna record the whole thing. Document. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm gonna document the whole process. So be watching.
And that's not clickbait. That's not anything else but the actual reality of the decision-making process of what should I do or not do with this truck. Because to fix that, it means the engine's got to come out.
Okay, this is important stuff. I want you to notice it. Notice a couple things here. When you look at the pictures that are taken, the video that's taken of the engine bay, and there was one earlier on too where he was talking about it being a 390. When you look at pictures of the engine bay, take a look around where all the wires and all the hoses and all that kind of stuff, where all that kind of stuff runs. You'll notice that all of that stuff, all of the hoses and clamps and wire ties and all that kind of stuff are all in place. Everything is where the factory put it. That means there hasn't been much screwing around going on underneath that hood. That means that the truck has been cared for respectfully, because nobody's just gone in there and monkeyed it all up, okay? Also, look at the front of the radiator core support. You'll see where it says 2017 minus 40. Okay. That is a chalk mark that was put on there by the guy who checked the coolant in the well, we call it coolant in Louisiana. Up there in Kansas, they call it antifreeze. Anyway, that's where who worked on the truck checked the antifreeze protection on the motor to make sure that it was covered for the wintertime. And if you look close as the camera kind of angles around and moves a little bit, you'll see there's a whole bunch of that white chalk. You can't read what it says, and it's kind of wiped off, but you'll see there's a whole bunch of that chalk writing on that core support. It's right there by where, well, you can see it, right? Now, something else I want to throw in here too. One of the things about the engine firing up and running like that that's so important is these old vehicles have a vented fuel system, okay? They're vented off into the air. This is before charcoal canisters and systems had to be airtight for emissions. So one of the big deals about that is that the fuel will go bad in the gas tank much, much quicker, especially with the gas tank inside the cab, because the tank will actually get hotter and evaporate faster. So the fact that the truck just fires up and runs like that and isn't full of sour gasoline means it hasn't sat for very long. This is interesting stuff, but just look around and notice. I know it's dirty and it's greasy and it's oily, but it's very, very neat under the hood, which I found to be interesting. All right, back to it.
It's got to be cleaned up, got to take the valve covers off, got to totally degrease it, and that just turns into what they call scope creep, meaning you start with one little thing and it just takes off, and before you know it, you're basically restoring the whole truck. Because the deeper you look at it, that's just the reality of what it needs. It needs a whole brake job. You've got 4 bald tires. You've got 16.5 rims that you're going to have to replace. Farm truck, you can about figure that just about none of the wiring and lights is going to be functional. Something like this was a farm truck. It was used around a property, probably hardly ever driven on the highway, if at all. Now there's a concept of just getting it going and not worrying about what it looks like, but still by that time you're going to have a lot of time, effort tied up into it. And something like this, as a 3/4 ton, does it really have the collector value that a short bed half ton would? And that answer is no. The other bad thing about it is looking at what's here, the reality is a truck like this is just worth more dead than alive.
And I know he's right about that. The dude knows his business. I mean, he knows his business, okay? Yes, the truck is worth more in parts than it is as it sits in one piece. It's a sad reality. You know, as I've gone through this video, I've tried to look at the truck closely and kind of point some things out to people. This truck is really, as ugly as it is and as wore out as it looks, the truck is really fairly untouched. And you can hear the sorrow in Mr. Goodpliers' voice as he goes through this. You can hear the sorrow of his recognition that the truck is in fact worth more dead than it is alive, and he doesn't like that idea. He'd rather see it get saved, and I feel exactly the same way. I think that one deserves to be saved. I think it's well savable. Is it gonna be expensive hard work? Yes, it's going to be expensive hard work. But that one deserves to stay. That one has lived well and done well. And you can look at its scars and you can see that it's worked hard throughout its life, and so maybe it deserves a kind and playful retirement. So that's what we'll do. We'll give it a kind and playful retirement, and have it live on another day. And once again, we can make it worth more alive than it is worth dead. Thanks for understanding.
You've got a really nice cab between the doors, the grill, the hood, all that stuff in this business. We've parted a bunch of them. We know what that stuff brings. And the very, very first thing that grabbed me about this truck was that it's got a good 390. And a lot of times I've had calls for these, and I've probably told a dozen people or more that I don't have a good running 390 when they ask. This is one that it's pretty expensive to rebuild, and if a guy has one, you're going to tie up several $1,000s if that's what it needs. And so this engine alone probably worth close to double what I paid for the truck if it's cleaned up and made to where it can be dropped into another car, which the condition that it's in really wouldn't take much. It starts, it runs, the valves are nice, it idles nice, it doesn't smoke, and this is a very desirable engine. Basically anything from your 1958 through the 60s, your Fairlanes, your Thunderbirds, any vehicles that have a lot more collector interest and value than this truck, those owners that would be willing to step up and spend real money on a restoration would really want to have this engine. So adding up what's here, it's clearly worth more dead than alive. But then again, it has a title, it runs and drives. It's not something that's just been left to roach in a field, and it is a piece of our country's transportation history. Seeing the dealer emblems are still there, that's a tangible tie to the history of this truck. And so I just don't know what to do with it. And that is an absolute reality. Like I said, it's not clickbait. It's the tormented, what should happen to this truck? So, as has happened a lot of times in this business, it just comes down to it not being up to me. It's up to the next person, the customer who's going to buy this.
And I think he's talking about me right there, isn't he?
Or want to buy parts of it. And a lot of times I say the channel is more entertainment than advertisement, which that's a lot to do with the algorithm. If I were just using it for advertisement to sell stuff, then it probably wouldn't get the views that it does. So I do have, from time to time, you guys reach out to me with stuff you're interested in, and this is one that I'm not in any hurry to tear apart. Actually, probably would be fun just to drive around a little bit just for the sake of driving it. Not on the highway, of course. One thing about it, this is an old truck. It's got 55 years of age and use and wear. But on the other hand, it's something that's basic. You can still work on, you can still fix. You hear all these guys buying $80,000 and $100,000 trucks. They're having catastrophic engine problems in the first 20,000 miles.
And you know, he's right about that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to speak ill of any brand here. Whatever manufacturer is shown in the picture just so happens to be shown in the picture. It's a random picture. But here's the deal. You go out to get a truck, okay? You go out to buy a truck. It's a truck, okay? It's a truck, right? Which means that you're going to, hopefully, you're buying a truck because you want to use it for work. I bought a 2012 or 2013 model, brand new Chevrolet short wheelbase 4-wheel drive. And the very first day that I took the truck to work, I was changing out some slate flooring on a second-story balcony. And I was prying up all the slate off the floor and dropping it off that second-story balcony into the back of the truck. And it was heartbreaking for me to do that because I just bought it. I just taken it home from a dealership the night before. But that's what I bought it for. But you're going to go buy a truck. You're going to go, and now trucks are like $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 or more. I think a $40,000 truck is probably, I haven't bought one in a year now. So that last truck that I had was $46,000, $47,000, which is absolutely ridiculous. You can't buy a regular cab anymore because of emissions and gas mileage requirements and all that crap. So you got to buy all these big fancy things. And they're just stupid expensive. They're stupid expensive to insure, especially because I had to have commercial insurance on mine. And the durability that you're going to get out of them is here's what you do, right? You get a 100,000 mile extended warranty on the vehicle, and when the warranty expires, you get rid of it, you go buy a new one. And what that means is that for the rest of your life, you're going to have a car note. For the rest of your life, you're going to have to carry full coverage. And it's just outrageous to have to do that. Think of the truck. I don't plan on doing this, don't get me wrong. But think of the truck that I could build out of that old black truck that we've been looking at. If I were to spend the kind of money that it costs for a new one on that one. And I'd be able to fix it whenever it broke. So I can't see it being a losing deal. Are the new model vehicles more comfortable and all kind of? Oh man, look, let me tell you what, okay? The sound systems are fantastic. The lack of road noise, so you can hear the sound system, is fantastic. The creature comforts, love it. Backup camera and all that stuff. Backup camera, especially for hook up a trailer. All that stuff is absolutely fantastic. And it's all something else to break. So, you know what? At my age, what would be the point of me having that big old fancy thing that costs all that money? I don't think it'd be a good move. Anyhow, let me sorry, I keep interrupting, but let me get back to it.
I would feel like a real chump buying something like that. But on the other hand, the ability to use one of those versus one of these, and just the comfort, the smoothness, it's a real tug of war in the decision-making process. I can say my van, it's fairly new, 2008. It's smooth, it's comfortable, the AC's cold. I would not imagine doing what I do with a truck like this. So to actually put something like this into regular daily use, really, really unlikely. Also, gas mileage on this, probably abysmal. Emissions, not good. I remember when I was first starting out working in junkyards, that was back 2008, and scrap had just hit 200 a ton for the first time. And man, I remember these trucks were just led to the slaughter. At that time, $500 would buy one, but no one was, because at that time also gas had hit $4 a gallon, which nobody'd ever seen before. You could load one full of your shop scrap and probably get 600 out of it at the yard. And so that's what happened to a lot of them. As far as collector value, Richard Rollins, love him or hate him, you probably could guess my opinion of him. Built one of these trucks, and that was where, like, overnight the collector interest flipped. They went from being something that was just scrap, or unless it was really, really nice, not having much collector value, to all of a sudden pickups are the thing. So everyone that's survived, that's made it past all that, does have some collector value. If any of you are interested, just get with me. My email is in the video description box, and comment below. Let me know what should be done with this truck. What do you think? What would you do?
I heard the call. What do you think? What would you do? And I think I've made myself pretty clear. I think I made myself pretty clear on both of those. What I think and what I would do. We're at the end. Don't go away yet. Quite yet. Still got a little bit.
Drop a comment, and if you are interested, send me an email. YouTube as a user platform is not very social media friendly. It's one of those that I really can't even click on your profile picture to blow it up. I can't see where you're from, send messages, anything like that. So these comments, I do see them, but I really don't have a way to correspond with anyone through a comment. So if you want to correspond with me, email is what you got to do. All that being said, I'm going to fire this up, put it away, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, boys and girls. Excuse me. And there we go. Thank you so much for sitting through all that. I really do appreciate it. I'm having a blast doing this, and I'm able to do it because of y'all. Anyway, there's the story. This is part 2 of I Need a Truck. It's coming out a little sooner than I thought. I figured I'd have to wait till we went to Kansas to be able to do part 2. But then I figured out how to do some more stuff in the editing program. There's some more stuff I'm going to figure out as well. Hopefully what this will do, this little, I guess, practice session we've had, hopefully this will improve all of my videos. Because every time you learn something about the editing program, you get better at it. At least that would hopefully be the plan. You'd get better at it. I'd get better at it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you're looking forward to seeing more about this thing hopefully you're looking forward to seeing more about the truck as much as I am. Hopefully Mr. Goodpliers doesn't mind that I hijacked his video to be able to do this. I don't want to upset anybody. I'm not trying to do whatever. I just wanted to make a video, you know. So hopefully he won't mind. And Sir Goodpliers, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate this. Thank you. So anyhow, so the next video will probably be part 3 will probably be taken off to Kansas, which should happen not next week, but the week after, because I've got that heart thing to go to next week. So we'll go from there. In the meantime, thank you so much for being around. I really do appreciate it. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good afternoon. Take care.